Hey everyone, today is July 25th, 2024, and I want to go through all these Venus, Mercury, and Sirius, the dog star connections to the upcoming Olympics, which are starting tomorrow in Paris, France. Especially, there are a lot of mercurial anniversaries and Mercury connections to this year's Olympics, and there's a Sirius theme, the dog star, and Venus associated with the woman. That's also connected as well because there's a Venus-Mercury conjunction coming up on 8/8, a few days before the end of the Olympics. And we're going to go through all these connections, especially Mercury, the god of commerce, trade, and financial gain. And since we're kind of on the topic of money, just a quick little history here. If you haven't noticed, the topic of the national debt has been in the news a lot lately. Right, here's our current debt, $34 trillion. But just a quick little history is that after the American independence, the Treaty of Paris in 1783, that was a treaty that ended the Revolutionary War, basically. It was also called the Treaty of Peace. And in that treaty, the United States, it was determined that we owed France 6 million livres because they helped finance our War of Independence. So you could say that the Treaty of Paris, that was the initial debt instrument or debt payment that we owed, and we've never been able to get out of it. So there's a little bit of history about that. And if I put this up on the calculator here, but that was signed on 9/3/1783, and if we go to 10/5/2024, that will be 1001 Mercury years after the signing of the Treaty of Paris, and the 1000th anniversary was on 7/10 or 7/11. But this 10/5 date is interesting because this is also going to be the 31st anniversary of Sirius moving into the 104th degree. And it was about 100 when the United States was founded, but it moved into 104 on 10/5/1993. And here we have our first Mercury-Sirius connection. So Sirius moved into the 104th degree on 10/5/1993, and if we go to 8/3/2024, it's exactly 128 mercurial years. And that 128 is kind of a special number too. We've seen that with over and over again with the bridge collapse. Many events are on 10/28, which is a 128, but that 128 keeps showing up over and over again. Let's see here. The Stade de France, the stadium, or track and field, and a bunch of the other events will be held at this year. They opened on 1/28/1998. So there's another 1/28, and from 1/28/1998, the opening of the Stade de France, to tomorrow's beginning of the Olympics, it's exactly 110 mercurial years. So we have this Sirius connection, 128 coming up on 8/3, and if you remember, I just did this video, let's see, a month or so ago, a little over a month ago, a couple months ago, all about the date 6/2. It was 8,300 days after 9/11. Well, 6/2 plus 62 days just happens to be 8/3, right? 8/3 is our football number, and there's a football connection with Mercury here as well, and we'll go through that. But in this video, and I think I even mentioned it maybe on a live stream with Decoding with Cody, he's covered the 128 a lot, but the significance of the 6/2 date and the 83 and the date 8/3 coming up, which is going to be happening during the Olympics. Okay, a lot of setup here. I know it's a lot to go through, but there's so many amazing Mercury connections that you kind of have to set everything up and kind of show how everything is kind of intertwined here. So we have the Sirius anniversaries connected to the stadium and to the date of 8/3, the Mercurial anniversaries, and it's the 33rd Olympiad. And here is the symbol for the Olympics. It's a flame, right? And Sirius, the dog star, is the scorching star. And there's actually another Sirius connection here. They're going to have Snoop Dogg carry the Olympic torch, right? Dog for the dog star. And Sirius means glowing or scorching. And the Olympics, the 33rd Olympiad, is going to be during the 303rd and 304th millennium lunation. The lunar lunations counted from the beginning of the in the year 2000. So 303 and 304. That 34 is significant as well, because Sirius in the Greek isopsephy, right? The Greek Olympiad, Greek isopsephy 595 is the 34th triangular. So we have the millennium lunation 303 and 304, like a 33 and a 34. We have our commerce connection, our finance connection, you know, the United States debt, all this connection with money. So 33rd Olympiad, of course, Mercury 88-day orbital period, it's actually 87.9691, but the messenger, commerce and trade. Here's our Eiffel Tower, which is super huge, connected to the 8/11, which will come into play here when we look at the Mercury anniversaries. So here's our Eiffel Tower. It's a structural representative of the number 811 in the Greek isopsephy. We have the iota, the alpha, and the omega stacked on top of each other, which sum to 811. And there's a Mercury anniversary, a special Mercury anniversary coming up that has to do with 811. So coming up on the 8/8/2024 during the Olympics, we're going to have it's kind of small here, but Mercury and Venus conjunction. You can see Mercury is actually going to be in the constellation Sextans, which is like a measurement device, a astronomer's tool. So that's kind of interesting, kind of a not necessarily a rare place for it to be, but there's the Venus-Mercury conjunction happening. So another connection here being that something that Cody pointed out, that our symbol for the Olympics, it looks like a woman on fire. You can see her lips here. And there's definitely a Venus connection here, because Venus is the hottest planet. Sirius is called the scorching star, right? And there's other connections here as well. But so 8/8, we're going to have the Venus-Mercury conjunction. 8/3, we're having that Mercurial anniversary with Sirius. And we're having the 110th Mercurial anniversary starting tomorrow. It has to do with the stadium. And if we go back and look at 9/11, 2001, you can see here Mercury at 846. Everything here I show you guys is set to the correct city that we're looking at or talking about. But 9/11, 2001, 846, Mercury was breaking the horizon. And I'll show you the Mercury anniversary here, but 9/11/01, Mercury's breaking the horizon. And then coming up on 7/30 or 3/07, 2024, Mercury would be almost in the exact same position, except it will be in Leo. Before it was in Virgo, but now we're in Leo, the lion. And just a few days before this, Mercury-Venus conjunction, but that's where our Mercury is going to be during the Olympics here. It's just going to be breaking the horizon at about the same time it did on 9/11. So here's our first kind of 9/11 connection. Osama bin Laden, he's having his 55th Mercurial anniversary after his death, 5/2/2011 to 7/30/2024. And that's most of the dates I'm going to show here is 7/30. But so 55 Mercurial anniversary, and he took office, became the first General Emir of Al-Qaeda on August 11th, 1988. So there's an 8/11 there. And then, if you don't know, 3/21/1965 was the beginning of the construction of the World Trade Centers, the Twin Towers. That was the beginning of the clearing of the land, the demolition of the land. And Osama bin Laden, his birthday, we're told, is 3/10/1957. I got this backwards here, but that's 8 years, 11 days apart. So the demolition or the beginning of the construction of the World Trade Centers, March 21st, 1965, 8 years and 11 days after the what we're told is the birth of Osama bin Laden. So there's another 8/11, another reason why he became this office on 8/11. And we're having his 55 mercurial anniversary on 7/30, so 4 days into the Olympics. The next Mercury anniversary we're having has to do with the birth of Bruce Willis, and he starred in the movie Mercury Rising. Now this is super important because, like I showed you guys, the Mercury was breaking the horizon when the first plane hit on 9/11, and he's going to have his exact 288th mercurial anniversary on 7/30, and that 288 is important because it divides time. 140 divided by 5, 288. And that 5 is associated with Venus, the Venus pentagram, you know, the woman connection. So there's a time-Venus connection here as well. But he's having a 288th Mercury anniversary on 7/30/2024 as well. Same with Osama bin Laden. And the connection there is, which I went through before, and this is courtesy of the Casey Jones Astrology channel. He's the first one that pointed this out on his channel, but JFK, he was assassinated on his 193rd Mercury anniversary, and then Bruce Willis, he turned exactly 193 Mercury years old on 9/11, and then we had Mercury rising on 9/11, literally on the breaking the horizon as the first plane hit. So that's the connection here. There's this JFK connection to Bruce Willis, this exactly 193 Mercury anniversary. And then JFK, of course, he had just taken, if you look at the Dealey Plaza, it looks like the Sephiroth, and he just turned through what would be Mercury on the Sephiroth. That was his last turn through Mercury, and then he died on his 193rd Mercury anniversary, just like Bruce Willis, 193 Mercury years old on 9/11. And probably the most important one here to show you, the anniversary, the 95th mercurial anniversary of 9/11 is coming up on 7/30 as well. And Sirius is 95 in Gematria. And, you know, the dog star, like I showed you, we have Snoop Dogg. He's giving the torch its final leg here. So they're definitely showing us the Sirius, but another Mercury anniversary on 7/30 with 9/11. So two big ones here, Osama and 9/11, both having their 55th and 95th Mercury anniversaries. And just to look at these two connected here, kind of get an overall, you know, another Mercury connection since they're connected there to 9/11. Bruce Willis's birth, 3/1955, to Osama bin Laden's death, 5/2/2011, is 233 mercurial years. 233, the 13th Fibonacci, 51st prime. So that's a super important number, you know, Fibonacci number. And let's see what else here. So all these Mercury anniversaries are just happening precisely during the Olympics, especially on the 7/30 date. 8/3 is important, and so is the start of the Olympics, but the 7/30 dates, the one I've been looking at, and started my interest in this, all these Mercury anniversaries. But so if we look at the halfway point exactly, since Bruce Willis has his 288th Mercury anniversary on 7/30, another sports event, if we split this 288 in half, of course we get the 144, and Bruce Willis's birth to 11/23/1989 is where the split is exactly for the 144, and that was what was called the Bounty Bowl in Texas Stadium. It was a football game where find it here. The Bounty Bowl. They were putting a $200 bounty on the Cowboys kicker Louis Zendejas, and I believe Troy Aikman was the other one that was there was a bounty on. But so there's a sporting event here where they're trying to take out one of the players, you know. So that's an interesting connection, you know. And it was actually at Texas Stadium, right? Texas is the five-pointed star, the Lone Star State. It's actually also in Houston is where the San Jacinto Monument is, with a 34-foot star on top of the monument, and 34th triangular number. It's our 595. Little interesting side note there. I've covered the San Jacinto Monument many times, but just in case you forgot about that, but there's a Texas connection there with the Bounty Bowl, a sports connection at the exact halfway point between 7:30 and Bruce Willis's birth that had that star connection. And here's this slide again. You know, Snoop Dogg carried the final torch on its final leg, and you know, just in case we didn't get that that we're looking at a serious connection here, the Dog Star. Right, that's where Sirius moved into the 104th degree, right? 104, 14. I'm talking about that 14 a lot. That 14 was related to 9/11, all related to 9/11. That 8/3 date. I believe Dr. Savage, he's been looking at this 8/3 date as well. So 7:30, 8/3, 8/8, and of course the Olympics will be closing ceremony will be on 8/11. So that'll be interesting. And then here's a view from the Eiffel Tower, the top of the Eiffel Tower, with the Jade Mars. And if you remember, Mars has a maximum synodic period of 811 days. But kind of looks like a cross when you look, you know, the Jade Mars here kind of looks like a cross from the top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. Let's see here. What else can I show you guys? Oh, another Sirius connection. Finis Temporis points this out in a lot of his videos. He has awesome videos. But there was a dog on 9/11 named Sirius that was killed in 9/11. And they give a couple dates here. April 24th, 2002 for his memorial, and they found the dog. Dog's remains on 1/22/2002, but this dog Sirius was killed in the 9/11. You know, Sirius is the Dog Star, and it's a twin star, right? We have the Twin Towers. It's the brightest star in the night sky, so it's a very special star. It's the star for Freemasonry, right? The top of their, you know, tracing boards with the pillars, right? They always show Sirius. Let's see what else we have here. Mercury anniversary. This 128 just keeps showing up over and over again. And coming up in October. Like I said here, the Sirius moved into the 104th degree on 10/5/1993, and 10/5/2024 is going to be the 31st anniversary of this, you know, moving into the 104th degree, but it's also, let's see here, 793, the 88,056 days after the Treaty of Paris, right? It's exactly 1001 Mercury years after this signing. And October looks like a huge month for financial stuff. October 2nd is 177 days after the X-eclipse. 177 days before the X-eclipse was the annular eclipse that passed over Corpus Christi, Texas. So, and then on 10/28, I believe, is the 1031st Mercury anniversary of the founding of the United States. So October is loaded with Mercury anniversaries and Sirius anniversaries and financial anniversaries, you could say, I guess. Financial events. Well, I think that's all I have for you guys. So super interesting days coming up. These 9/11 connections, that 7/30 date. Really looking at that. That 8/3 date also, super important. 8/3 has this direct connection to Sirius and the 128th Mercury anniversary, so that's another interesting date. Let's see, 110th anniversary tomorrow of the Stade de France, 110 Mercury anniversary. Okay, guys, yeah, thanks for watching.